COVID-19 First Alert forecast. Certified most accurate since 2004.
Well, that story's making us think about baseball, but it feels like October baseball, not August baseball here in Cleveland. 19 First Alert meteorologist Andy Chillian joining us now with what we can expect for today and the rest of the week.
Yeah, when the Guardians are back tomorrow, it's going to be a big shift from what they've been seeing in Texas, as we're going to be seeing, again, October-like weather as we start off the work and school week. For today, though, not too bad. It's a little bit cooler than yesterday. We're in the 70s today. Mostly sunny, breezy. It's a west wind, maybe a stray shower or two popping up, but we really haven't seen much of anything in the way of rain in the past 24 hours, so the air is just pretty dry for sure. But it's Monday and Tuesday. We're going to have that system swinging through, low pressure swirling, and that means it's lake effect showers scattered around, so not a washout, but breezy and cool. Temperatures stuck in the 60s for highs. We'll have some 50s, even some lows will be flirting with the 40s as we get to Tuesday and Wednesday morning. Now Wednesday afternoon, sunshine and dry conditions return, but remaining cool with temperatures struggling to get much higher than the upper 60s to lower 70s. So here we go, skipping over September and already heading to that more mid-fall feel. Forecast today, though, still not bad. 75 degrees, breezy west wind, 10 to 15 miles per hour. So that will keep those temperatures still about 5 degrees or so below normal for this time of year. And like I said, cooler than yesterday. But not much going on with First Alert Doppler. Our front has passed overnight already with really no fanfare, but the much chillier air is delayed here. Notice these showers up by northern Wisconsin, Lake Superior. That's the even cooler air that's going to be headed down this way with those lake effect shower chances as we head through tomorrow and Tuesday. So First Alert Future View pretty quiet through the day today. Maybe a stray shower. Our warmest temperatures will be further south. We'll get near 80 in Canton and Dover today. Worcester at about 73, 74 this afternoon. Now we start the day tomorrow in the 50s, so it'll be cooler out there. And then as we head into the afternoon, here come those scattered lake effect showers from the northwest. So it's a northwest wind these next couple of days, tomorrow and Tuesday, that is, and could even see a couple rumbles of thunder, maybe pockets of heavier rain. That also means, yes, there's the potential for some funnels or water spouts over the lake. I expect that to stay over water, but conditions are right for that. Here's Tuesday morning, 50s, if not some 40s showing up there from Norwalk to Mansfield. So 75 degrees today, not too bad. Mostly sunny, west wind around 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, we're a little bit cooler, upper 50s, a lighter breeze from the west, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Could be a stray shower or two tonight. Back to school tomorrow, whether kids are starting for their first day or for the first full week. We're at 60 arrival time, mid 60s at lunch, and then we'll stay in the 60s for dismissal. Breezy, and that is the better chance for a shower or two is going to be at dismissal time tomorrow. So First Alert 7-day, couple rain chances Monday and Tuesday. It's cool, still cool but dry on Wednesday. Next rain chances on Friday, but we just struggle to warm much higher than the mid 70s by the start of Labor Day weekend.